Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Tuesday the 15th of December's reading comprehension, Born on a Blue Day. So, same structure as always, guys. We're going to start off by reading the text, then reading a couple of questions and answering them together by finding them in the right parts of the text. Okay, so today's reading comprehension is called Born on a Blue Day, which is very, very literal. When you read on through this, you'll understand why this person was born on a blue day. So this is an extract from a book by Daniel Tammet called Born on a Blue Day. And Daniel has something called savant syndrome, which is a form of Asperger's syndrome. So this means he's very, very clever, very intelligent, has an amazing memory, but often has trouble interacting and communicating with others. Now, before you start this, Daniel experiences things in different ways to all of us. Okay, so the way that he experiences things is that he experiences days and numbers as colours, or perhaps flavours, or as in a very, very different way to how we see them. So when you read this, make sure you read it extremely carefully. If you've just read a sentence and you're thinking, what on earth was that all about, make sure you go back and reread it, just so you're double checking that you've read it correctly. It's likely that you will have done. And take your time reading this. Okay, so have a read through of these two sections and pause the video while you do that, and then we'll have a look at a question. So the first question we're going to look at is find two examples of personification in this passage. Now I picked up on this question because I thought, do you know what, we've probably not covered this in literacy yet. Well, we've been off doing things like this for both our poetry inputs. So personification is when a human quality is given to an object. So in this case, in what we've just read, the object would be abstract in this case. It's the numbers. So we're going to look at how the author of this text, how Daniel, has made some of the numbers appear human. Okay, and we need to look for two examples. So I'm going to have a look right at the very bottom of this paragraph here. So the number 1, for example, is a brilliant, I'm just going to highlight it, the number 1, we don't need for example, is a brilliant and bright white, like someone shining a torch beam into my eyes. Now when we see the number 1, I'll give you a hand, I'll just draw it there. Now when I look at that number 1, I just see a number 1. I mean, it is blue, it's dark blue and light blue, but it's not anything other than the number 1 to me. To Daniel, it's like the beam of a torch shining into his eyes, something that's very, very difficult to understand unless you've actually got a torch and you're shining it in your face right now. But that's how he sees and perceives numbers. Now, in terms of personification, the number 1 is our object, and he's described it as like someone shining a torch beam into his eyes. So that's going to be our first one. The number 1 is a bright white light, like someone shining a torch beam into my eyes. I think that's what it says, isn't it? Yep, there we go. A brilliant and bright white. Oh. Brilliant and bright white, like someone shining a torch beam into my eyes. So there we go. That's our first example of personification. So now we're going to have a look again for another number. Let's get our highlighter ready. Conveniently, quite afterwards, 5 is a clap of thunder or the sound of waves crashing against rocks. 37 is lumpy like porridge. I am totally going to get that one. 89 reminds me of falling snow. Very bizarre, isn't it? Now, I'm totally going with 37 is like lumpy porridge. 37 is like lumpy porridge. Now, I don't know if any of you guys in my class, here is the number 37. For me, that's 37. It's 3 10s and 7 1s. Doesn't look or resemble anything like lumpy porridge to me, but that is what personification is. Okay, so 37 is giving a human quality to something else. Okay, Alright, so you've got a couple more questions to answer for this this one. This is by far the most difficult one. So have a go, and I will see you tomorrow. Good luck.